And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Boles.tv. I am David Boles. It's lovely to be here with you again. There's nothing more frightening, relatively speaking, when you start up your software to begin streaming in the morning, and you get the spinning thing, says, oh, we're updating your software. We hope this works. If it doesn't work, just download a new installer and we'll see how it goes. By the way, we're changing our name from Streamlabs OBS, Slobs, to Streamlabs Desktop. I guess there was some kind of rights problem with using OBS in the title of their software name, and they got into big trouble, so now they're trying to make amends and heal things and just be known as a desktop instead of OBS. Okay. It's supposed to snow here on the East Coast today, so the weather is very wild. Barometric pressure is going up and down, killing us, as you can see in my working right here. So yeah, when that comes out, doesn't have anything to do with stress. Oh no, this is weather. And it's so ugly, it's almost beautiful. So many things to have a chat with you about today. And one of them is this new promo that I created Monday after the live show. And I call them promo. First I called them commercials, then I called them promos. Twitch calls them channel trailers. Okay. They have to be fewer than 60 seconds, and they show up when you go to your Twitch page, which for us is Boles.tv. And it's a little promo where you can talk to people and try to interest them in your channel. Okay. However, we have some deaf people who watch our show and who watch Jana. And the trailer hosted on Twitch is not closed captioned. So I make the trailer, I upload it to Twitch, then I download it and I re-upload it to Vimeo and YouTube. I also put it on Twitch and Facebook. So it takes a lot. I have to upload it a lot of different places. And I put it on Facebook because they close caption it automatically, and so does YouTube. Automatically close captions. So our deaf friends can see what's going on with us. And they can be welcomed to our channel trailer as well. And so I remembered to show it to Jana yesterday. This channel trailer thing. And she looked at it and she said, "Oh, that's interesting, but there's one small mistake." And I said, "What is it?" And she told me, and I said, "Oh boy, you're absolutely right about that." "What is it?" "I'm going to show it to you. And you tell me if you can figure out what it is." Okay, there I am in all my glory. And this is the YouTube version. As you can see, I've turned on the captions. So you will hear me speaking to you, but I will give you a hint. The issue with this channel trailer, promo that I call it, is in the captioning. Okay, here we go. Hey, can you see that? Yeah, it's a promo for Boles.tv. And I'm David Boles. And I would like to invite you to join me every weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern as we discuss the condition of the human soul, the moral soul, with all its highlights and pitfalls and pinnacles and joys and despair. Plus, Jana Marie Sweeney will show up and teach us some American Sign Language. I invite you to subscribe today and join us next time right here on Boles.tv. Thanks for watching. Okay, so there you go. That's it. That is the channel trailer. Did you see what's wrong with it? Now imagine you're not hearing it, you're just watching it. You're watching that trailer. And you're watching the captions. And it's very obvious what's wrong. The automatic captions misspell my name. They put a W in there. And it always happens that way. And if I can edit it myself, I can go in there and fix it. And you used to be able to edit the closed captions on Facebook, but now they say, well, if you want to edit your captions, you can just upload the file yourself and do the captions yourself, and we're not going to auto-caption it anymore. You're on your own, young man, old boy. Okay. So you have to live with the captions not quite looking right. But here's the problem with that promo is if you're deaf or if you're not hearing and you're just watching the closed captions, you're going to type in BOWLS.TV to try to get to this channel. Now, if you're looking at this, you'll see this. It's here somewhere. And it's BOLES.TV. So Janice said, well, because these automatic captions are this way and you can't change them, you have to change how you're doing your promo. And I said, yeah, you're right. We will change that as quickly as we can. And I need to say, hey, join me on BOLES.TV. Why am I spelling it? Because closed captions put a W in there. So it's good. It's good criticism. It's good feedback. It's absolutely right. You can't assume the captions are going to be correct. They most likely will not be, as we have now learned. So now I have to be careful when I say, hey, just go to Boles.tv and see me. Well, it's not quite that easy. It's go to BOLES.tv. So now we know. Something else that's new and special and coming up is Jana Marie. Something else that's new and special and coming up is Jana Marie. Something else that's new and special and coming up is Jana Marie. Something else that's new and special and coming up is Jana Marie. Something else that's new and special and coming up is Jana Marie. Now that's fun. Okay, be careful what you wish for. That is our Twitch channel feeding back to me what I'm saying in almost real time, which is pretty darn cool. But I got to figure out, here, I can mute myself. Okay. Even though I'm live, I'm talking to myself. I'll show you in a minute. I'm tilting, as they say in the chess world. So I'm still talking there, so I can make my point about this with you now. Jana Marie is going to have her own show here on the weekends. Now, as you know, she joins us sometimes, often, during the week with a little ASL lesson or an ASL story. Fridays is her determinative day, where she gives us a very formal and interesting lesson in classifiers and signing and deaf culture, telling a life story. It's wonderful. But that is very formal. It's teaching. So I thought, why can't she have her own little show like I do here, where I go crazy and say hello and show you the veins in my head and blame it on the weather? Why can't she do the same thing, sit here and just chat with her ASL students or her deaf friends or her deaf associates? And so we are going to do that. This weekend is our first weekend. Saturday, Sunday, at 11 a.m. Eastern. And she's going to try to go for an hour. Maybe she'll go longer, maybe she'll go less. But this is an opportunity for you to join Jana Marie. And the title of her little gig is Live ASL Chat with Jana. And because of the way that Twitch is set up with their live streaming, you can't do video very well. As you know, you've seen us try to do video, bring her in. It looks very choppy. It isn't great. I don't know why. It doesn't look better. So usually when she teaches, she just sits in this chair and it looks fabulous. So on the weekend, she's going to do her show and she's going to chat, and we hope that her friends and associates will show up. And it's informal. So she'll be signing. No audio, no music. ASL, pure ASL. And her friends will hopefully show up, and even though they're deaf or may sign, we can't see them, so they're going to have to type in chat and say, "Hi, Jana. What's new?" Right? So they'll type to her, and then she'll sign. And if they're hearing or a student or something that need help, then she can type back, "Okay, I'm fine." Or she'll tell a story and chat about the world. Fun, right? We're going to try it. And this is what we were looking at earlier. This is me talking to myself, and I muted myself so we can't hear all this craziness going on. But this is our schedule, as they say, on twitch.tv. Username Boles TV. That's BOLES TV. And here she is in the bottom right corner, live ASL chat with Jana Marie for an hour. Maybe 2 hours, maybe just an hour. Who knows? Maybe I should make it just in 2 hours so we can see her whole name. That would be interesting. So we're trying something a little bit different. And why not? What else do we have to do on the weekend? So that'll give us, which is, I think, good news, a streaming presence 7 days a week. 9 a.m. Eastern here, Monday through Friday with me and Jana Marie every once in a while. And then weekends with the Jana Marie herself. Maybe I'll show up. Maybe I'll show up to chat and ask her a few questions and say hello. So those are some updates about what we're doing here. And to celebrate and promote the new Jana Marie show, we're going to be giving away some subscriptions to this channel. So you can come in here and chat for free. It won't cost you anything. You don't have to worry about Amazon Prime. We'll just give you a month free to come in here and check it out. And we're doing that because we have locked down our chat. You have to have a verified phone number and a verified email address, and you have to be a subscriber. Some chats just for followers, which is fine too. But when we first started this stream, we had a couple of incidents with trolls who just sort of show up to say nasty things to bother you. It's a bit of a problem. And Twitch has put in these barriers and these moderation bots who can help stave off those kind of people. So it can still happen with nasty people showing up. But they're going to have to pay $5 for that privilege. Will I take $5 from someone to be insulted? Of course. Then I'll ban them and keep their money. Because that's how we roll. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you something else that was sort of fun. Oh, but we're not going to do that yet. This is not fun. This just popped up 6 minutes ago, which is very interesting and good news, that Pfizer says its booster offers significant protection against Omicron, or Omicron, however you want to pronounce it. And as they say, no one will ever pronounce it correctly for the scholars, but for the rest of us, it's Omicron, or Omicron if you're from the Midwest, as I am from the Midwest. Pfizer-BioNTech said that 2 vaccine doses alone may not be sufficient to protect against any infection by the Omicron variant, but could still protect against severe disease. And then you want more information, and here's the actual doodad of what's really going on. They said today that lab tests suggest that 3 doses of their coronavirus vaccine offer significant protection against the fast-spreading Omicron variant of the virus. Yay! We're all Pfizer here so far. We're 3 Pfizer shots. I would like a 4th shot of anything, just because I like vaccines. The company said that the tests of blood from individuals who received only 2 doses found more than a 25-fold reduction in antibody levels against the Omicron variant compared to an earlier version of the virus. That finding indicates that 2 doses alone may not be sufficient to protect against infection. But the blood samples obtained from people 1 month after they had received a booster showed neutralizing antibodies against the Omicron variant comparable to the levels of antibodies against the previous version of the virus after 2 doses. Good news. At the same time, the test suggests that the mutations in Omicron do not appear to significantly affect T cells, another critical part of the immune system's response. That suggests vaccinated individuals may still be protected against severe forms of the disease after only 2 doses. The results seem to underscore the importance of booster shots in combating the new variant. So, the cynical among us might say, oh, isn't that interesting? 2 shots from Pfizer, not enough. Spend the money, spend the time, get a 3rd one. Oh, now suddenly you're protected from Omicron. But I think we've always known that we have to get a 3rd shot anyway, if you're into that sort of thing. And most of us are, I think, at least those who watch this lovely show. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did one of these Find Me puzzles for Halloween. Find the star, find the four-leaf clover. Here's a new one. Lots of fun. What does it mean? Well, here we go. Find Odie, if you are a Garfield fan. In this image, and I can usually never find anything in these sort of puzzles, but this one I found relatively quickly, and I'm very happy. But I do know that from my previous puzzle experience with this, Find Me's, where it tends to be. And I don't know why they tend to put it there in that area. But Odie is a slim, funny-looking dog who is a friend and nemesis of Garfield. So, have you found Odie? If not, don't despair. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Odie is in the upper right quadrant of this image. Now, you know the drama we've had over the past month or so with getting dinged by copyright notices from YouTube, and recently yesterday from Twitch, saying that the music you're hearing in this live stream is not allowed to be used on this stream, and so we're muting you. And yesterday I got hit with a whole new one from YouTube, which was actually my podcast about the Columbia killings. And I had taken sections of this conversation we're having right now on that day and chopped it up and made a podcast out of it. And it worked really well. The listeners to my Human Meme podcast seem to like listening to this conversation 4 times more often than they listen to my well-prepared, rehearsed, script-written Human Meme podcast. So that's a fine, interesting experiment. But what is not fine is having to deal with these copyright issues. So the video, as you can see on your screen, Columbia killings and woke danger. 31 minutes. And as you can see in the second image, all that red part, 21 minutes of my podcast, are claiming as a violation. So it doesn't mean they're taking it down. It just means that if there's advertising revenue, that they're giving it to the company who owns the music and not me. I don't monetize anything on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't matter to me in that way that I'm not getting any money. But it matters to me that I have paid for a commercial license from Slip.Stream to use their music library in my online efforts, and that includes podcasts and websites and everything but commercials, including video on demand. Some streaming services include video on demand in their license, and others do not. They just cover you for the live stream, and that's it. If you do video on demand, that's an extra fee. But maybe one day I want to monetize this. So that tells me I got to fix this somehow. So you select the action, and you choose dispute. And they want a reason for your dispute, and you say, I own a license for this music, as I've said to you 10 times before. Please release the video. And what tends to happen is this copyright owner, Anthem Entertainment, when you do a dispute and then you tell Slipstream about it, is they will release, see, this one video has 2 claims on it. And they will release one and leave the other. They've done that to me before. I had 2 different videos that used the same song, but they were different videos on different days. They released the claim on one of the videos and left the claim in place on the other video. And I checked that yesterday too, and YouTube said, well, the copyright person has another 18 days to dispute your dispute, and if they don't dispute your dispute, then you win. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just wait out the remaining 18 days. And I guess that's what I'm going to have to do on this one too, because they only released one of them. And this is just part of it. This is, as I said yesterday, why I don't like to use music in online adventures, because there are a lot of ways you get caught up and sort of harassed. This is what I wish that we had, was some kind of key, a software key, that we as the license holders would have and use, and that would be associated with our streams of music. And when we download or stream from whatever service we're using, that encode, decode, key, whatever you want to call it, would be part of that experience. And then with these automatic bots on YouTube and elsewhere, try to listen to your videos automatically. People are not listening to this. This is all computers. They would read that encoded code saying that I have the right to use this music. I have a viable license, a commercial license. The AI would read that embedded code and say, oh, he has a license. Leave him alone. We don't need to worry about him. We don't need to take his ad money because he did the right thing and he played along. Do they have such a thing? I don't know. I've never seen it, but I would like to have it, please. So when you get dinged on these copyright things, you have to write to support whatever streaming service you're using and let them know, because they really do try to support you and take care of it on their end. And so yesterday I wrote to Slipstream and told them. They got back to me right away and said, I'm sorry you're having these problems. We're doing this, we're doing that. Let us know. And I said, okay. And then at the very end they said, oh, by the way, one of our CEOs at Slip.Stream is David Carson. And he's from Lincoln, Nebraska. Like you. What? And I'm thinking immediately, and this is so bizarre. A couple of weeks ago, I was actually thinking about David Carson. And he said, the Slipstream support said, yeah, and he was in a show with you, or you cast him in a show. He was 12 years old. Well, if he was 12, that means I was 13. And that was wild. And I thought, oh my gosh. Now, normal people 10, 15 years ago would say, hey, they'd get in touch. David Carson would contact me. I would contact David Carson. Hey, Dave. What's up? What are you doing? Well, we don't live in that age anymore, right? Especially when you're from the Midwest, which is very cold and distant. And I told the story of Kevin Simonson, who I saw in a store 10 years after we did a show together, and he looked at me and I looked at him. We knew each other. We didn't wave. We didn't say hi. Hey, Kev. Hey, Dave. How are you? Hey, what's up? No, we just pretended we didn't see each other and walked away. It was very bizarre, but very Midwestern. And most kids from the Midwest who want to escape, not necessarily Lincoln, Nebraska, but let's say Lincoln, Nebraska, most of them go west. They go to California. They want the water. They want the ocean they've never seen in their lives. Nebraska is the most, #1, landlocked state in the United States. And they want the warm weather, and they don't ever have to wear a coat again or boots. And a few of us go the other way. We go east. We tumble back into history, because it's more interesting to us than going out and living the California lifestyle. So instead of David Carson and I talking on the phone or exchanging email like we would have 10 years ago, hey, no, you don't do that. You just go to the Google. And I'm not saying this is stalking. I'm saying this is research about your friends. So this is my old buddy, David Carson. We did a show together when he was 12 years old. And he's had a fantastic, beautiful life. Slipstream went to Oberlin, got out, right? Went to college to Oberlin. And this is just so fun and lovely. I'm currently building Slip.Stream, the first of its kind music distribution platform for the modern creator economy, where songs are used, not just listened to. Hey, love that. We empower musicians and content creators to work together to further their individual brands and generate new revenue streams. Yay! What's his experience? Slipstream. Co-founder of CMO. Executive Creative Director at Ogilvy and Mather, a very big and prestigious advertising firm in New York City. Founded Heavy.com. Went to Oberlin. As a music dude. Isn't that fabulous? So that's my old buddy. 40 years later, we get reconnected. And then LinkedIn isn't enough. What else is Dave doing? Well, you look at him. Oh, here's his Instagram. And I need to connect with him, and I need to follow him, and I need to blah, blah, blah with him. All right? We'll do all of that. Add a note. David, we're checking you out on the live stream today. Boles.tv and slip.stream. Yay! We're stalking you live. Be well. Have fun. Good to reconnect. Yours, DB. Meh. Okay, there we go. David, we're checking you out on the live stream today. Boles.tv and Slipstream is playing. Yay. We're stalking you live. Be well. Have fun. Good to reconnect. Yours, DB. Send. Boom. Hello. Done. Okay, so we'll go, oh, it's David Carson. Oh, here he is on Instagram. Okay, well, there you go. Whammo, follow. I don't care about these other people. This is a house that's in his neighborhood that's up for sale, so you could go buy this and live in it and be David Carson's neighbor. Here's a lovely photo. Love the hair. Now, is that a kid from Nebraska, from Lincoln, Nebraska? Most people would say no. But most people who know would say, oh, absolutely. And he escaped. That's my opinion, not his opinion. He escaped to Oberlin first. And New York second. So there's this fun show. It's a lot about hair, honestly. Love the hair. That's what happens to mad creative geniuses. They have hair. They have wild-looking hair. Einstein, David Carson, take your pick. Same sort of genius. It's all about the hair, baby. It's all about the hair. And as you know, as a fan of this live stream, we've had lots of conversations about my hair. It's looking better now that it's growing out, but it's still wild and untamed. More hair, more posing. David, we're with you. So that's my new friend, my old friend from way back. And it's so funny how people fall apart. Not on purpose, but life takes you somewhere. He graduated from Lincoln High. I graduated from Lincoln Northeast. We did a show. You're intense. You come together. Show ends. Things fall apart. And then you come back together 40 years later. Through a connection. For support. Based on a copyright ding from YouTube. Isn't life wonderful? Life is very, very amazing. And with Matt, and with that, my delightful friend, you know what time it is. Yes. It's time for a blood pressure break. We're going to be back momentarily. I appreciate you being here. Back in a moment. We are back from break. Thank you for being here on Boles.tv. That's BOLES.tv. And I see Jana Marie said something in chat that I missed. All good here, excited about the weekend. Yay! Jana Marie. She's going to have her own show on the weekends, starting at 11, maybe going for an hour, or maybe 2. She doesn't know that yet, but maybe. We'll see. It's still open for negotiation. And later today on social media, I'm going to be putting out a reminder that Jana Marie will be live on the weekend in ASL chat, and we'll be giving away some gift subscriptions. So you can join her in chat and meet her and have fun and not have to worry about paying for the privilege. And speaking of privilege, we're just going to bounce right back into this screen of our friend David Carson. I'll just show you one more photograph. This is David when he was in college. He thanked his mother for sending him this photograph. He's right there in the middle in red. And how do we know the boy is from Nebraska? Red. That's how you know. How do I know? Well, red. Okay? We can't get it out of us. You can say big red's in your blood, and your blood is big and red. But it means something very different to boys born in Lincoln, Nebraska. Go Big Red. So this conversation that I didn't have with David Carson, but that I had in my mind with David Carson in visiting his page, led me to this page. The Lincoln Community Playhouse. Now, they've changed their logo since I was acting there many years ago. I don't like the new logo. It looks like an L, a backward D, and a D. And I looked at it and 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 tried, what are they doing with the D's? I don't get, where's a D in Community Playhouse? They used to have it used to have a half, it was like a sun, a half smiling, half frowning sun. That was the old logo for the Lincoln Community Playhouse. And then I looked at it and I realized, I guess, that they are sideways masks. Right? The traditional mask where one mask is smiling and the other is frowning. Tragedy and comedy together. I guess that's what they're doing, but they have the masks sideways. Making 3 dots. I'm not reading it. I'm not understanding it. But one neat thing that Lincoln Playhouse has is this big database of people. And so I'm thinking about David Carson and our time together in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I think we did some work at the Playhouse. So I looked myself up, and here it is. All the things that I did at the Lincoln Community Playhouse in the year. The role I played, the name of the show, and what year, how long the show ran. 81, 79. Takes you way back. Crew positions. Director of the Weeping Water Cafe. That's the show I wrote and directed and that we'll watch one day here live together. The Weeping Water Cafe, written by Boles, Double Blue. Jim Hanna and Devin Schumacher. Or as we say, Schumacher. Crew, Gregory Allen de Kubitscheki and Mr. David Boles. Darla was property master. Chris Scudder, assistant director. And Bob Esquivel, graphic designer. Let's click on Kubitscheki. Where does that go? Greg Kubitschek. Oh, it's all Weeping Water Cafe. And he lived close to that Playhouse, too. So you can click on people and look up people. Find people. Let's look up our friend Dick Terhune, who is now a big guy in Connecticut. Dick Terhune, hometown Lincoln, Nebraska. And now he's some kind of massive, insane guy in Connecticut who has his own radio ad company and works in theater. Let's view the person. Dick Terhune. Oh my. Now look at this. This is a guy who had a career. And he was mostly involved after I left. And he was working, and then he got out and went to Connecticut, I believe. But this is a guy who's dedicated to the profession. And this is community theater. This is Dick Terhune doing what he does because he loves community theater. He's not getting paid for any of this. He's starring. People love him. Major roles. And this is it's a training ground. Some people go to graduate school, go to NYU acting program, go to Columbia, be an actor. When I was there, we didn't have actors. And make your bones that way. Or you can star in 25 shows at the Lincoln Community Playhouse, playing the lead in each one of them, and make your bones that way. And what's so wonderful about a lot of these people who worked at the Playhouse as actors, they also would work on the crew. You'd come in a little early, you'd go back, you'd paint a set, you'd hammer something, you'd work up in the lighting booth, you'd design sound, and then Dick was a radio guy in Lincoln, Nebraska. Worked a little bit at KFMQ. So that's a travel back in time. And now we're going to do something just really near to my heart. And I couldn't believe it when this popped up in my inbox. There's this terrific association of people who take care of animals. And I'm vegan. My wife and I, and Jana Marie, sweetheart, have been vegan for, 18, 20 years. Probably longer than that. We just had our anniversary. It popped up on our calendar, but I can't remember what year it starts. So when you see places that are dedicated to loving and taking care of animals, instead of killing them and eating them, you want to celebrate it. And the Gentle Barn sent me an email and said, hey, take a look at this. What do you think? And I wrote back immediately. I said, hey, I love this. Do you have any video that I could show on my live stream of what you're doing and how you're doing it? And they said, hey, give me a minute. That was 2 weeks ago. And then yesterday popped up and said, hey, sorry it took so long. Here's some video for you. So I have video I'm going to show you of interacting with cows, the Gentle Barn animals. California, Missouri, Tennessee. And what you do, you can go gentlebarn.org, click on a cow. What do you see? This is Patsy the cow, living in sanctuary at the Gentle Barn in California. Patsy, also known as Sunlight, was sent to slaughter pregnant and gave birth as she waited to be killed. In a miraculous act of compassion, the slaughterhouse owner allowed us, the Gentle Barn, to have them both and bring them back to the Gentle Barn. But because Patsy was a first-time mom, she was terrified and grieving the loss of her whole community. She did not make sure her daughter got enough colostrum, and her baby was sick by the time she got to us the next day. Her baby had an infection in her gut, which spread to her joints, making it painful for her to walk. And she had a staph and E. coli infection in her lungs, making it hard to breathe. Patsy was scared of us and protective of her baby, but she allowed us to treat her, imploring us with her huge eyes to save her. We tried everything, but she did not have enough of an immune system to recover. Sadly, after 3 weeks, Patsy's baby passed away. Patsy was angry and sad and grieving, but time heals all wounds, and animals are so enlightened and wise that she finally healed. Patsy is sweet, kind, gentle, affectionate, and will always see her daughter's beautiful face in hers. Patsy will get to live a life filled with kindness and honor as part of our family for the rest of her life. So you can sponsor Patsy, you can click on a button and make a donation in honor of Patsy. All kinds of wonderful things. And so here are some of the videos that they sent me. The Gentle Barn. I'll share with you right now. And they're short, but my goodness, they're lovely and fun. And I hope you enjoy them. It's a famous show in New York. Several years ago, subways are for sleeping. The Gentle Barn makes it clear that cows are for napping. And why not? Who wouldn't want to take a nap on a cow? That's beautiful. Here's another video from the Gentle Barn. That's a lovely moment of compassion and love and healing. And who wouldn't want to pet a cow? And then the question is, who's comforting who in that video? I think it started one way and went the other. And if you're a fun cow, you're going to have fun with your teddy bear. Beautiful. The Gentle Barn. They'd love your support. Give them a shout out. Let them know where you heard about them right here on Boles.tv. And with that, my gentle friend, we're going to take a very brief break, come right back and get into it again. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Boles. BOLES.TV, as Jana Marie warned me. Very interesting show today. We've gone many different directions. I thank you so much for being here. The weather continues to be scary and just a little bit lousy. I peeked out the window in our blood pressure break, and it just looks cold and ugly and almost snowy. And speaking of cold and ugly, have you heard about sildenafil? Sildenafil is commonly known as Viagra. Why are you talking about that, you may ask? Well, here we go. Why is Viagra prescribed? Viagra is used to treat erectile dysfunction, impotence, and inability to keep an erection in men. It's used to improve the ability to exercise in adults with pulmonary arterial hypertension, carrying blood to the lungs, causing shortness of breath, dizziness, and tiredness. Children should not usually take Viagra, but in some cases a doctor may decide that Viagra is the best medication to treat a child's condition. Okay, so we know what Viagra is. And Viagra, I believe, was not intended to be that. It had a different concept when it was being created and marketed. And while it was being tested, they discovered that these men who were taking Viagra in these field tests were getting these strange erections, and they couldn't control them. And they'd have an erection for many hours. What are you doing? I don't know. I just took this pill. It's not supposed to do this. And that's how Viagra was invented. And it saved a lot of men's lives, and some joke made a lot of older women miserable. So that's what Viagra is. Okay, now we get into something very, very interesting. This is from Nature on Aging. It's a very technical article. We don't have access to the article, but we have access to the abstract and to the title, which is really fascinating. And what the idea of this article is that Viagra may help people who have Alzheimer's disease. Now, what does that do with giving men erections? Well, maybe nothing, maybe everything. But an erection is all about blood flow. And maybe Alzheimer's cuts down parts of the brain that need more blood. This is what the abstract says. And it's very technical. There was one little part here that was readable. Yeah, here, we'll start here. Propensity score stratified analyses confirm that Viagra is significantly associated with a decreased risk of AD across Alzheimer's disease across all 4 drug cohorts tested, listing them. After adjusting for age, sex, and race and disease comorbidities. We also found that Viagra increases neurite growth and decreases phospho-tau expression in neuron models derived from an induced blue fructoid stem cells from patients with Alzheimer's disease, supporting mechanistically its potential beneficial effect in Alzheimer's disease. The association between Viagra use and decreased incidence of Alzheimer's disease does not establish causality, which will require a randomized controlled test. So that's where we are so far, but there's enough evidence and enough excitement that they're going to do more tests to see if taking Viagra can help make an old mind young again. Can deal with the ravages of Alzheimer's disease. Now, I did not know who Keith Abloh was, and I'm not sure now that I know who he is that I want to know who he is. He's about my age. Keith Abloh is an American author, television personality, and former psychiatrist. This has nothing to do with Alzheimer's disease or Viagra, but it is related to medicine and art and oddities. He is a former contributor for Fox News and The Blaze. Keith Abloh is also a former assistant clinical professor at Tufts University School of Medicine, which is a wonderful school. Abloh resigned as a member of the American Psychiatric Association in 2011. Abloh's medical license was suspended in May 2019 by the Massachusetts Board of Registration in Medicine. The board concluded that he posed an immediate and serious threat to public health, safety, and welfare, alleging that he had engaged in sexual and unethical misconduct towards patients. According to the Associated Press, Abloh freely mixes psychiatric assessments with political criticism, a unique twist on the realm of cable news commentary that some medical colleagues found unethical. That's a photo of him. I didn't know him. I don't know him. And this goes on about his early life and education. So, the guy was successful in some arenas, conservative arenas, probably making a fair amount of money as an assistant clinical professor at Tufts. And then he gets tossed out, which rarely in my experience happens with doctors. Doctors tend to protect their own. Unless and until something political happens or something is so egregious and outrageous that the medical board or the board of deciders just cannot tolerate to have the person involved anymore in what they're doing. And they throw them out. Okay, that's a problem. So then in my inbox, I get this interesting email from a little while ago, but it popped up again recently for some reason, and I don't know why, and maybe it's because my inbox says, hey, you're doing a live stream. Why don't you talk about this? And I looked at it, and I had a hard time figuring out what it was and what was going on. And I read it and reread it and read it again. Finally looked up Keith Abloh. Who is that? Oh, that's who it is. And this is what confused me. OpenSea. We've talked about NFTs making money with artists, for artists. And I saw this thing, RX, prescription, right? Pharmacy, yeah. RX NFT. I'm thinking, RX NFT? What is that? Well, as Uncle Mills said, well, Davy, well. Let's read to find out. Dr. Keith Abloh is America's most famous psychiatrist. Now, famous or infamous? Oh, they wrote famous. America's most famous psychiatrist, a New York Times best-selling author, and an artist who has sold work to some of the most famous art collectors in the world. In his RX NFT series, which we're looking at right now, he uses NFTs to prescribe, NFTs to cure virtual patients of virtual illnesses. Now, does that just sound wrong? for a doctor, even a disgraced doctor, to be involved in? Are you making fun of the community that you dedicated your life to because they threw you out? Already likened to MC Escher's Drawing Hands. We don't have a link for that, explaining that Abloh's RX NFT series addresses the razor-sharp moment mankind finds itself bleeding into. The transmutation of the physical into the virtual. And then we continue. So this is an NFT that you can buy from Keith Abloh, MD, formerly of Tufts University. It's a prescription blank. Is it official? I don't know. It says it's official, but maybe that's just artist puffing. I don't know. Has a barcode on it. Patient name, username. The date, the RX, half a pill twice a day for online gambling addiction. NFT. Signed by, I guess, Keith Abloh, MD. Refills. Infinity. Pharmacist test area, 1 + 1 equals. Dispense is written or just Photoshop. Okay. Weird. Strange. I'm not sure I get it. But as you know, if you're a fan of this live stream, or if you're an enemy of this live stream, you know I can be pretty dumb. And I guess he's selling 3 of these. Now, do you want this for his infamy or his fame? I don't know. Here's another one. I don't know if these are making you laugh or are these making you cry. I don't know. The whole thing's just very bizarre. Here's another new official New York State prescription. This one, patient name, just make it up. What date? Any date. Take 2 of these NFT pills and call my avatar in the morning. Meow. The refills are infinite. Funny? I don't know. Sex, male, female, yes. Yes, please. Isn't that the Austin Powers joke? Sex? Yes, please. I don't know if this is funny or if this is sad. It's all very confusing to me. I admit it. And maybe this is the prescription blank for me. Patient name, Lost Soul. I am lost. Take half a pill twice a day, an NFT pill for depression, loneliness. Dispense is written? Yeah, why? Well, that's probably going to be the most popular of them all. 2 of 3, I guess, are available or sold. I don't know. I'm sure that's popular in the big cities. And these just go on and on. I'm going to keep looking at them because I'm trying to understand them. There is no patient name on this one. Take 1 each morning. Super strong NFT. Take 1 each morning for feelings of depersonalization? I don't know. You have to explain the joke. I'm not sure if the joke's funny. And it looks like a lot of these are, I guess you just buy 1 of these, but if there are 3 of them, then they show 3 of these. Oh, this one is the most infamous of them all, I believe. Patient name is your username. Date is any. Take 1 prior to sex with a robot. or avatar. Dispense as written, checkmark. So is this what we're coming to? I guess this is what we're coming to. With discarded doctors trying to still make a living by selling NFTs, using their previous good reputation to try to make money the old-fashioned way. By selling it? I don't know. Where do you go to get your reputation back? I'm not sure we should be asking Keith Abloh. And speaking of money, if you're a fan of news, like I am, local news, newspapers, there's a compression going on, a tension that is being created in the industry. And it's not good for regular people like us who want to know what's really going on, because instead of having 10 voices telling you the truth as they know it, and publishing what's going on in the world, they're instead all getting together and publishing under one banner. And as you know, I am from Lincoln, Nebraska. And growing up, there were two major newspapers, one in Lincoln and one in Omaha. And the Lincoln newspaper had a morning edition and an afternoon edition, which is very interesting. The journal, the Lincoln Star was the morning paper, and the Lincoln Journal was the afternoon paper. And it was funny that most people became who they were based on what edition of the paper they purchased. I don't think anybody really bought both the morning and the evening because they were different prices. So you had to decide if you were the morning person or if you were the afternoon person. In our house, we got the afternoon paper. After the day had happened, we wanted to read about the news. Other people up the street, which I preferred, got their newspaper bright and early, and they would read about what happened while they were sleeping so they could be prepared for the day. And then time and economies compress, and the Lincoln Star and the Lincoln Journal several years ago became one, and they became the Journal Star. And I believe the only option for delivery was in the morning, but maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't living there when that change happened. And then across the way, 50 miles away, was the Omaha World Herald, which was a big, big monster newspaper, big building in downtown Omaha. And very popular in Lincoln. Although the true Lincolnites would not want to read the Omaha newspaper because they were from Lincoln. The Omaha World Herald is for Omaha. But the World Herald was still popular in Lincoln, and there were kids I knew who delivered for the Omaha World Herald. And it was a morning paper. They'd get up and they'd deliver the World Herald. And no kid called it the Omaha World Herald. Every paper delivery kid I knew called it the Omaha Weird Herald. Because I believe that was a cartoon character on Fat Albert. Weird Herald. It was funny. And if you said World Herald, you would be corrected instead of Weird Herald. Okay. But they had a nice logo. Nice font, old world font. Well, then time and tide works against us, and the Journal Star and Omaha coming together, and Warren Buffett sold the World Herald, where previously he had been the Oracle of Omaha who had stepped in and saved the World Herald from closing, and then he sold it off because he wasn't making any money off it. So now the World Herald and the Lincoln newspapers are slowly